Isang magandang umaga at sabihin na natin makaalamang umaga sa inyo, Martes ng umaga sa inyong lahat. So binabati ko mula Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig. Nandito na naman po tayo sa sinatawag kong For the Love of Juan, Listen to Juan's Love. So para sa pagmamahal namin kay Juan de la Cruz, kami po ay nagbibigay ng isang oras na talakayan, discussion at kaalaman para kay Juan de la Cruz. So napapanahon po ngayong umaga ang ating talakayan dahil nandito po tayo sa sinasabi nating pandemic era. So sa pandemic era, hindi lang marami tayong mga problema na naglabasan. Actually, nung na-discuss ko po nung nakaraan yung QR code, ito naman ang mga technologies na umusbong na during the pandemic. So isang napakagandang sabihin nating pagkagamit ng QR code. At the same time, nung nakaraan ding discussion natin, meron din tayo pong bisita tungkol naman po ito sa social media privacy. So lahat ng mga tao po ay gumamit ng mga social media platform at hindi po nila naiwasan ang mga problema na naranasan nila sa social media platform. At ngayong umaga naman po, tayo po ay napakaswerte pong muli. Ako po ay napagbigyan ng ating bisita. So sa amin po sa Institute of Electronics of the Philippines, Manila chapter, actually na-invite na po namin siya na mag-seminar kasi yung sa ICEP po, tinatawag namin ICEP po, Institute of Electronics of the Philippines, Electronics Communication of the Philippines, Manila chapter. Hindi lang naman po kami nagbibigay ng mga technical seminars or talakayan about sabihin natin pang engineering side, but also actually meron din po tayong discussion tungkol sa mental health. So nabanggit ko na po ngayon ang term na mental health. So tatalakayin po natin ngayong umaga ang issue tungkol sa mental health. Ano nga ba ang nangyari kay Juan during sa pandemic era? So bakit nga ba naglabasan ng issue tungkol sa mental health? Ipapakilala ko na po sa inyo. Siya po ay na-meet ko nung during college days. Isa po siya sa mga naging paborito ko pong professor at sabihin natin academic mothers. So marami po akong naging ina-inahan nung nag-aaral po ako. Pero hindi naman po siya sa engineering side. Doon po tayo sa social science. So siya po si Professor Dr. Rosemarie Therese M. Cruz. Siya po ay isang professor at registered psychologist. Doc Marie, magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Magandang umaga, Doc Ronnie, at magandang umaga sa lahat po. Isang karangalan ang makapiling kayo ngayong umaga at tungkol dito sa inyong mental health awareness program.
Opo. Doc Marie, ito pong aming palabas na sabihin natin, One's Love. So sabi ko nga po kanina, for the love of one, listens to one's love. So si Juan, yung love po ay laboratory, hindi naman po yung LOV, kaya po One's Love. So, sa pag-aaral naman po dito sa laboratory ng One's Love, hindi lang naman po puro technical at kaalaman ng ating ibabahagi. So kailangan din na po natin bigyan pansin ang ating tinatawag nating mental health. Doc Marie, ano po bang maibibigay nyo o maibabahagi nyo talaga? Ano po ba talaga ang sabihin natin proper definition o kahulugan para kay Juan de la Cruz ang tinatawag nating mental health?
Of course, syempre, ang ating magiging batayan sa ating definition ng mental health would be the one given by the World Health Organization, Ronnie. So, mental health is considered to be an integral component of health. As they say, and as given, there is no physical health without mental health. So, yun ang bottom line dito, no? So, pag sinabi nating mental health, it includes actually social, emotional, and psychological well-being. Well, to expound more on this, ano nga ba ito? So, anong karakteristik ng isang Juan de la Cruz ang sinasabing may state of well-being? So, ito ay, kung si Juan de la Cruz, despite the challenges, katulad ng sinabi mo, no, dulot nitong pandemic na ito o pandemya na ito, ay nakaraos o nalagpasan niya yung mga pagsubok. And just to say, no, he was able still to maximize his potentialities despite the limits of the pandemic. As we all know, di ba, marami mga limitations sa atin ngayon. Although ngayon nga, dahil bumaba ng ating alert level status, so, medyo mas maluwag-luwag na tayo sa paggalaw natin. But just the same, hindi pa rin tayo totally free from that. And yung sinasabi natin dito pagdating sa state of well-being kasi, papasok din dito yung individual differences natin, no? Our reactions to stress, our reactions to the pandemic would all have to be varying. So ito ay magre-reflect ngayon kung papaano tayo nagre-react dito sa mga pangyayaring ito. Like we see nowadays, no, may I just continue the Ronnie, nakita natin ngayon lang nung nagbaba ng alert level status, nakita natin na kahit na nagbaba na ng alert level status, may mga tao pa rin na not comfortable to go out with the official, di ba? Gusto pa rin nila yon. So ito kasi, this is actually one mode that would still give them that feeling of security. While others, as we see already, no, nagulat ako for one, no? Nagulat ako dahil ang mga babies, di ba, nakikita natin sila, no, nasa mall,
Yes
mga
po.
bata naglalakad sa mall, and practically we see this also the way the people or individuals have to see how the situation is. And nakita nila na life has to go on, no? Life has to go on, and still they can be the best of themselves. So ito yung sinasabi natin na the state of well-being, that they are still productive and they are able to contribute to the society. At yan ang sinasabi natin na state of well-being. Kahit na ano man yun, so sabihin na natin na ang mga Pilipino ang Juan de la Cruz ay kilala sa ating pagiging resilient. Okay? Ang katatagan ng ating loob, okay, ito ang ginamit natin para malagpasan kung ano man yung unos. But definitely still, no, kahit na kilala tayo mga Pilipino sa pagiging resilient, makikita natin na iba-iba rin. No? Iba ay hindi rin maganda ang kanilang nagiging reaksyon sa pandemya. Kaya sinasabi natin na nag-display rin sila ng poor mental health. So hindi sila naka-adjust, and instead, nag-develop sila ng mga iba pang condition o na-aggravate ang kanilang condition dahil hindi nila nakayanan ang mga challenges nitong COVID-19.
Opo. Doc Marie, kanina nasabi nyo, ito nga yung ang mga Pinoy ay resilient nga, at the same time yung state of well-being, tapos ang bawat, actually magkakaiba naman talaga si Juan de la Cruz, so meron tayong iba't ibang pananaw. Pero overall, ano po ba ang naging epekto nitong pandemic kay Juan de la Cruz? So mabibigyan nyo po ba ng isang assessment? Ito po ba ay naging maganda sa kabilang banda at naging mahirap din po ba sa kabilang banda para sa kabuuan ni Juan de la Cruz ang pandemya na nararanasan po natin ngayon?
As they say, Doc Ronnie, that in terms of wellness and COVID, so this has been described as a crisis within a crisis. So ito yung kinoconsider nila. Bakit a crisis within a crisis? Because there's already a concern, a problem, because there's already COVID-19. And COVID-19 has basically affected our whole well-being. So pag sinabi natin, yung pangkalahatan sa atin, no? Maybe for some, hindi lang natin gaanong naramdaman iyon, pero kahit papaano, ito ay nagkaroon ng epekto sa atin. Kasi nga, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, no, kanya-kanya lang tayo ng level ng pag-react dito sa situation. But just the same, we are affected by this pandemic. Okay? So unang-una is that everyone would have to be concerned about our health condition. As a matter of fact, hindi ba, sa atin lang sa mga workplace lang natin, pinibigyan na tayo ng reminder na konting sipon lamang at ubo, hindi ba? Hanggat maaari, huwag na tayo mag-report. So these are also the same protocols na bakit ginagawa yon, okay? Is because still we are having that fear. Okay, the fear, we are still anxious. So hindi natin ma-explain bakit nag-worry pa rin tayo, no? Una, akala natin, lalo na nung nagbaba ng alert level status, akala natin tuloy-tuloy na siya. Until finally, meron na naman tayo narinig sa news, meron na namang breaking news, na meron na namang variant. And this again, though dati medyo cool na ng konti, pero medyo meron pa rin medyo guarded pa rin tayo, no? Kasi yan, expected yan eh. The COVID-19 has brought about that anxiety to us. At yung anxiety na yan, naapektuhan ang buong pagkatao natin. So sinasabi nga na pagdating sa wellness, ano yan? Emotional. Okay? So the way we'd have to be coping effectively with life. Siyempre, ang emotions kasama niyan would have to be relationship eh. How you have to handle your emotions would have to be affecting the way you have to be treating people around you. So we see na paari sa ngayon dahil medyo emotional ang mga tao dahil sa maraming problemang dinadala, di ba? Kaya nga dahil sa anxiety na dinadala. So hindi maiwasan na medyo nagkakaroon ng hindi pagkakaunawaan, di ba? Kasi nga, madaling mag-init, no, ang ulo. So pagdating, syempre, isipin din natin, isa pang epekto nito, lalo na nung pinaka-peak ng pandemic, na unti-unti namang binabawi ngayon ay ang ating financial wellness. Let's face the fact na marami talagang nawala sa atin, no? Sa atin, sa mga may mga, I should say that I am blessed, okay, to be in the government kasi lahat pa rin ng mga benefits namin natanggap namin. So but for others, no, nakita natin yan, narinig natin sa news na talagang malaking dagok ito pagdating sa financial aspect ng kanilang family. As a matter of fact, bukod dun sa finances nga na kulang na nga yung kanilang sinasahod or income, means of income, nakita pa natin na nadagdagan pa rin ang gastos nila sa bahay dahil syempre nandun ang mga bata, di ba? And just the same, dahil sa online class and work from home,
Yes, ma'am.
kailangan nilang bumili ng mga gadgets, no, to be able to attend to the requirements, no. And social, no, nakita natin yan. Though ngayon na, kaya nga siguro nakita ko na parang excited ang lahat ng tao to socialize, no? Dahil nga medyo na-limit tayo from socializing. So yung connection natin, although we cannot really totally say na nawala yung connection natin sa bawat isa dahil sa technology, no? Kaya nga itong technology ngayon ay nakatulong sa atin. Although we would always have to see the two sides of the coin, no? Wala na nakikita natin ngayon, sinasabi ko pwedeng mga negative side siya, no? Spiritual would be, pwedeng dun muna tayo sa effect ng COVID pagdating sa spirituality on the negative end. Maaaring yung iba, lalo na yung mga nawala ng mga mahal sa buhay o sila mismo ay halos nasa bingit na ng kamatayan o nagkaroon ng COVID. This could be also giving them, probably it came to a point that they were questioning our God, di ba? Bakit sila? Bakit sila? And on the other hand, we see now that sinasabi nga ng ating simbahan that COVID had actually made the church closer to the people. Kasi nga doon sa online masses, no, yung mga dating hindi nakaka-attend ng mga mass, pero ngayon kasi accessible na lahat. So, occupational. So sa occupational, eto tayo lahat. I know that if you're working, sa lahat ng working, ang pinaka-problema natin ngayon is actually to set the boundary between the home, personal, and the work. So wala na kasi ngayon wala nang boundary, no. Ganun din sa mga estudyante. So nahihirapan talaga sila. They could barely barely concentrate kasi nga minsan yung mga kasamahan din nila sa bahay, mga magulang nila, nakakalimot na nasa klase pa rin sila. In the same manner na ganoon din tayo rin, di ba? Hindi na nakikita tuloy-tuloy na. Wala na yung oras. Kaya nga sinasabi ngayon na hindi na natin alam ngayon kung anong araw, holiday pa ba? Because it doesn't actually really matter anymore, no? So ito yung sa mga occupational. At some point then, ang ato naman ito sa wellness is that we have actually learned a lot to appreciate our work, lalo na kung meron blessed tayo dun sa trabaho natin at masasabi natin swerte tayo at nandito tayo sa trabahong ito kumpara sa iba. So this would now be despite the challenges of COVID na pumapasok tayo at still nakakapag-serve tayo, and I believe that would already be a state of well-being, no? You're still able to continue to deliver the services and you are still able to feel that personal satisfaction out of doing the task, no? Well, of course, we have to consider physical wellness. So, sinabi natin dito, pagdating sa physical ay ang health. So lahat tayo naman, takot tayo. Talagang we have this very great fear about COVID. Kaya nga, we are very observant of that health protocol. So as part of this, likewise, no, ito rin naman, kung ano rin naman itong mga problemang ito, yun din naman ang pagtugon natin dito, no. So pagdating sa intellectuals, dahil nga sa sobrang hindi natin maiwasan, dahil dulot nga ito ng tinatawag na anxiety o pagkabalisa, no, we tend to worry a lot. na hindi na natin na-stop yung sarili natin na kahit konting bagay nag-worry tayo. Konting pakiramdam lang natin na naiba, di ba? Hindi natin maiwasan na mag-worry tayo. And these are also the same mode that we'll have to be discussing later kung paano natin ma-adapt o makukup itong mga situations na ganito. And then finally, we also have environmental wellness. No? Ito ay ano ba ang mga klase ng environment natin. So ito nga yung nakapaligid sa atin. So it could be the workplace, it could be the home. Now, how supportive are they sa atin? And sila ba ay nagiging toxic na or stressor, added stressor sa atin? Or are we likewise a stressor to them? No? Ito yung dinulot sa atin ng pandemya. No? It brought about this, the fear, the stigma, lalo na dun sa mga, we all know that na nag-start yan sa frontliner, how prejudiced some individuals are to them, even up to the point na hindi sila, di ba, paalisin sila sa mga tinitirhan nila dahil nalaman sila yung frontline. No? Masakit yun dahil yun yung stigma na sinasabi. Pero nalagpasan din natin yun. At nakita rin natin how still the COVID victims are trying also to cope. At nakita natin, like, I have friends, no, may mga co-workers tayo na COVID. Nakita ko kung paano sila talaga ka-particular and conscious as to their actions, no, kung paano rin sila muna. At the same time, kasi hindi problem yung mga tao nakapaligid. And this would have to be also considered as environmental stressors. So a great impact on us. But I should say, as yung question mo nga kanina, at katulad din na sabi ko, na ang COVID naman ay hindi naman din totally na negative ang binigay. Kasi somehow, like in my case, I just like to share personal experience, I was able to go back to my first love, which is psychology.
Doc Marie, i-cut ko lang ng konti kasi na-discuss nyo nga yung sabihin natin, nandun tayo sa negative effect ng COVID and then you enter something in a new chapter of your life. Ito nga yung first love nyo, ito nga yung psychologist. But before we proceed to that, ano ba nakikita nyo sabihin natin naging positive or good impact itong COVID-19 kay Juan de la Cruz?
Of course, nakita ni Juan de la Cruz kung gaano siya katatag. Mas matatag pa pala siya as ever he imagined, no? Dahil kahit na nga may problema na pang-pinansyal, magkakaroon na ng yung mga limitations, no? Nakita natin na nakayanan niya ito. Nakayanan niya ito. And we would also have to see this also from people, lalo na pag tayo napapanood. Nakita nila na marami silang nalaman tungkol pa sa sarili nila. Marami pala silang talent. Like, ito pala, siya pala ay magaling. Meron pala siyang green thumb, no? Yung mga plantito-plantita. And they were also able to see and appreciate life more. So, nakita natin yung essence. Ito siguro sa akin yung pinaka-importante na dulot ng COVID. Dati siguro we take things lightly. We don't take things seriously. But with COVID now, even the simple things matters a lot. And the simplest of which would have to be now how we'd have to be valuing relationship with people. Because we never know. Hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan lang ang buhay natin. And that realization gave Juan de la Cruz that proper perspective of life. And that, I believe, is the good thing and the good essence of COVID. Mas na-realize ni Juan de la Cruz kung ano ang totoong buhay.
Opo. So kay Juan de la Cruz, at the end of the tunnel, laging may light eh. So, sabi nyo nga yung term na ginamit nyo kanina, yung resiliency. So, si Juan de la Cruz, hindi laging nawawala ng pag-asa. Madilim man yung napagdaanan, sabihin natin, ito nga yung tunnel, but the end of the tunnel, ito yung light. So, meron pa rin liwanag after nung dilim na pinagdaanan nila. So, kanina, Doc Marie, yung na-share nyo kanina na ito yung first love nyo. So, how could you share about this? Paano nyo din po na discover because of this, sabihin natin, pandemic nga na naging positive effect para naman po sa inyo?
Yes, okay. Just like the others, diba? Sabi nga ay marami tayong natutunan at nalaman pa sa sarili natin. Now, actually started with some thoughts about, syempre marami tayong naririnig na kailangan mong gawin. No? So sa akin personally, it was really gratifying to be back with psychology, and this is one way of having it. So I was involved with, and I'm still currently involved with a lot of psychoeducation program dahil medyo nalihis na rin ako ng work, no, yung aking line of work sa school. Kaya medyo na-miss ko to, no? And this pandemic actually reconnected me with my first love. And I know this was also felt, or this was also experienced by a number of people. Marami silang nalaman pa na hindi nila akalang magagawa nila, pero nagawa nila. Okay. I could not really even imagine that I would be speaking about psychoeducation on wellness, but it came out. It came out, no? It just came, and there were opportunities now. At lagi ko nga sinasabi, no, na opportunities are always learning opportunities for us. Every situation will always be an opportunity for us. It's one way na ikaw rin, di ba? Yung professional growth, at the same time, yung satisfaction mo that you are in one way or another helping people. Okay, lalo na ngayong pandemic. At alam kong marami, di ba? Marami tayong mga volunteers. At marami rin na hindi lang yun. Kung ako, nakita ko yung passion ko. Yung iba naman, yung sa positive side, nakita rin nila yung passion nila. Hindi sila, iba yung mga line of work nila ngayon, but they are already into another business, no? Naging entrepreneur sila. So nakita nila yon na meron pala silang kaya pang gawin na hindi nila na-realize na kaya nila. And I'm one of those. And I'm always thankful of this opportunity to be part of our wellness program.
Opo. Doc Marie, so ito sabihin natin, isa sa napakagandang effect. Sabihin na natin, hindi naman, pag sinabi kasi nating effect, normally we focus on the negative side effect. But itong pinakamagandang effect, para naging solution na rin para sa inyo, not just only for your personal development, but also definitely ang discussion nga natin tungkol sa mental health. But Doc Marie, can we able to fight? O sabihin natin, malalabanan ba natin o maiiwasan ba natin yung tinatawag natin na mental health issue talaga?
Well, syempre, hindi natin maiiwasan yan eh. May pandemic man o wala. Okay. Lahat tayo ay makaka-experience ng tinatawag na mga challenges or life trials. No? As a matter of fact, just recently, I had a client. So, i-share ko lang din a bit about what he had experienced. No? Medyo talagang troubling siya. Kasi I know that person very well. And yung mga symptoms, kasi pag sinabi nga natin na kung bakit, kailan nga ba magkakaroon ng mental health condition? So ito na yung sinasabi nating mental illness, no? O leading na tayo doon. So apparently, based sa survey, ang mga pandemic distress related distress are anxiety, depression, and substance abuse, and we also have the post-traumatic stress disorder. So nakita ko ito dun sa taong ito kasi hindi siya umiinom. But then because of it's not actually COVID, but it's something of a challenge and a trial that came along na hindi niya nakayanan. But I know this person na talagang malakas siya no? Pero nga talagang hindi niya kinaya ngayon yung pagsubok na dumating sa kanya. At to the point na sinasabi niya sa akin that he does not even know na nakaligo na pala siya. No? Totally nawala na siya sa sarili niya. Kaya nga ang una kong sinasabi sa kanya is to help go back to the self. Okay. Yung feelings of helplessness and hopelessness, hindi niya rin akalain eh. Though meron pa rin siyang sense of reality na alam niya na sinabi niya na I know hindi ako ganito eh, pero hindi niya daw talaga maiwasan. Kaya kahit ano pa yung tatag natin, bibigay din tayo, no? Bibigay tayo. Hindi pwedeng hindi in one way or another. But yung reaction natin dito, okay, would really matter. So, ang condition na yan, hindi natin maiwasan. Sabi nga, they are external to us eh. Diba? Hindi mo kayang kontrolin yan. Kung may bagyo o hindi, diba? Hindi mo kayang kontrolin yan. Kung magkakaroon ka ng COVID, hindi mo kayang kontrolin. Kaya di mo kontrolin through observing the protocol, but you cannot really entirely say that you're safe, diba? And just like anybody else, life trials would just have to come along. At ito would have to be demanding a lot from us. So I should say that importante nakasama mo ang iyong sarili. It's always being with yourself. And you need really to exert effort in order to address the concern. Just like any other problem. Just like any other problem. Kailangan may gawin ka. Okay. Pero ang problema kasi ng yung sinasabi natin, kasi we have to distinguish first what sadness, okay? Kasi di ba sinasabi nila,
Opo.
sad sila, depressed sila, no? So being sad is a natural emotion, especially when there is loss, no? So may mga triggers yan. But then, when would sadness become a depression or lead to depression and so on and so forth, is that syempre, pag prolonged na siya. So, katulad din ng sakit, katulad din ng isang sakit, di ba, pagka sinabi na, parang masakit dito sa may tiyan ko. Sabi mo sa doktor, parang pumutok po ata yung appendicitis ko. Sasabihin ba ng doktor, yun agad? Hindi, di ba? The doctor would have to be looking for symptoms and would have to be checking on the laboratories, etc., etc. No? And same thing is true when we speak about the different mental illnesses. No? Meron din mga symptoms na nakapaloob dito. And that would already be the role of a medical specialist. No? So ito na ngayon, kailangan na natin ng psychiatrist doon. So, of course, this would be now a partnership between a psychologist, okay, and a psychiatrist. So meron na dapat psychological, which is psychotherapy, and then we also have what we call the medical intervention, which would already involve now the giving of medicine. Okay. So ito nga, balikan natin itong client ko. No? Sinabi ko na sa kanya na I think mas magiging helpful sa kanya if he already would have to be seeing a psychiatrist so that the appropriate medicine would have to be given to him para yung chemical imbalance sa brain would have to be attended to. Yes.
Doc Marie, kasi na-mention nyo nga itong mga medication, no? At before tayo mag-proceed dun sa medication, yung sa symptoms, kasi sabihin natin may mga kaibigan din ako during the pandemic. So before the pre-pandemic, sabihin natin bago mag-pandemic, yung tulog nila, sabihin natin, maganda sa gabi. Tapos after a while, pagka nakakaroon kami ng chatting or usapan online or sabihin natin kamustahan, minsan na may mention nila parang alas 3, alas 4 or anytime ng madaling araw nagigising sila. Not just only once, but normally sabihin nila almost every day. Is this one of the symptoms actually that you have a problem with mental issue?
Kung persistent na kasi siya, hindi na normal yon, di ba? Kasi minsan talaga may times na hindi talaga tayo makatulog, di ba? May times talaga na hindi natin maiwasan na pag sobrang pagod tayo, we really find it difficult to sleep. But now, ito ngayon yung mga difficulty or changes na ma-experience sila, no? Kasama dito yung sa sleep, eating patterns, no? Even behavioral patterns, so nagbabago ngayon yan. At unknowingly, nandun, yun pala yung effect sa kanila ngayon ng stress, no? So, kailangan mo na, siyempre, it would have to be already indicative of a time frame or a duration when we speak already of symptoms. But just the same, whether it's 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, no, kailangan pa rin. So, kailangan we have to be sensitive to our body. Okay, yun yung call na yan. Eh. What seems to be it and how should we be able to address it? As a matter of fact, lahat ng tao ngayon would really have irregular sleeping periods. Bakit din? Kasi minsan yung workloads, di ba? Minsan yun din eh. Hindi na nila alam kung ano yung oras. At minsan, lalo dahil sa dami ng trabaho, sabi nga hindi na mentally healthy na tawagan mo yung isang tao na o kaya magtatrabaho pa siya beyond this time. But dahil nga nawawala na tayo ng concept of real time, no, because of the pandemic. So it adds on also to the sleep patterns. But of course, we cannot also deny that difficulty in sleeping, like body aches, no, loss of appetite, okay, this would be already indications of stress in us. Kasi hindi naman siya normal na experience natin. Pero siguro, I also have to be defining what stress and anxiety is. No? So yung stress kasi, like, kunyari may trabaho ka, tapos may deadline, that causes you to feel stress. Right? So merong usually external cause yan. But what about anxiety? Yung anxiety kasi is, it's now the result of that stress that you're having. Pero ang difference nila is that sa anxiety, kahit tapos na yung concern or issue, it's still,
nandiyan pa rin.
no, is still affecting you. You're consistently still worried and affected by the situation. And that's being anxious. So ngayon, siyempre, pag gano'n na, nagiging chronic stress siya, and then eventually, pag hindi talaga siya na-treat agad, no? Then, pinagwalang bahala lamang, no? Pinagwalang bahala lamang siya, then it would eventually lead to a more serious mental health condition. And usually that would have to be leading to depression. And that depression, nakita natin ngayon yan, no? Up to the point na sasabihin nila na wala nang value yung sarili nila, and that would already be affecting also the value of their own lives. And that would already be indication of some desire or intent to commit suicide. So, ito yung mga hindi natin maiwasan. Pero pagka ganun nang medyo nagpaparamdam na siya tungkol sa mga ganito, maganda na rin na kausapin siya, okay, tanungin mo yung kaibigan mo if ever, no, kung bakit niya nasabi yun. And kailangan lang, you have to stay connected also. So, stay connected. Tapos kung sino man yan, sinasabi nga na kung may kasama man siya sa bahay na kilala mo rin, o dapat i-reach out mo rin ito for them also to know. Okay, that person could probably. So kailangan natin kasi proactive tayo dito eh. But in the event likewise that kung sobra-sobra na yung depression, no, like it would be already a number of weeks. 2 weeks kasi alam ko ate yung rule na dapat meron kang perang symptoms na out of the number of symptoms na dapat meron ka to classify you as one. So this would now be for the medical experts, no? So pagdating doon, if ever talagang bothering na yung condition ng kasama mo sa bahay, they are actually also suggesting that it's best to bring them already to the emergency. Okay? Para kung ano man, okay, maagapan yon ng gamot, okay, para kalma sila and so on and so forth. Kasi minsan hindi natin hindi nila alam na matagal na pala silang nandoon sa state na yon, no. Unaware sila even themselves, no. And even yung mga nakapaligid kasi sa kanila kasi hindi yung two-face ng depression eh. Minsan hindi mo alam na depressed, hindi mo totally na dahil tahimik ka lang depression kasi yung iba kasi iba yung nasa labas nila eh. Or proud they're still in denial because they do not want to be helped, no, but they really need help. So ang dito is that if we have people in the house, no, we also have to be sensitive to these people around and just have to refer them to online mga hotline crisis natin online, no, na ma-reach out nila. Marami naman tayo ngayon diyan na mga libre.
Doc Marican, so nakita natin na may intermittent siya sa sleeping pattern. So either losing or sabihin natin mas dumadami yung appetite. Is this one of the possible symptoms? Sabihin natin normal lang yung kanyang eating habits. For example, 3 times a day, tapos light meal lang siya lagi. Then after a while, sabihin natin na meron talaga siyang part ng symptoms. Maybe the appetite, mas na-lose yung appetite ba? Or sabihin natin, meron din ibang tao na stress na talaga or may problema na talaga, mas dumadami yung kanyang appetite. Is this one of the possible symptoms?
Yes. Although ang laging nandyan is the loss of appetite, no? The loss of appetite kasi nga, it affects the bodily system eh. No? Nandun na kasi, nandun yung chronic stress na sinasabi na your body functioning is already affected. So, yung nanghihina, so part na yon. Syempre pag nanghihina ka, kasama na doon, di ba, pag wala kang gana, ayaw mong lumabas, di ba? Yun yung mga indicators eh, na gusto mo na lang, nasa kwarto ka na lang, okay? Kahit nandun ka na lang, magkukulong ka na lang. Dati hindi ka naman ganoon, but because of this situation that you're in, na kahit ikaw mismo gusto mong labanan, you tend to be helpless and hopeless, no? Nakita mo yon na dati kaya mo pero ngayon hindi mo kayang gawin, and that would already be having to give you more or you check ka ngayon sa mga indicators na yan. But whatever it is that would have to feel like, as I've said, no, we have to be sensitive to our own body, what your body is actually trying to tell you. Now, if this has already reached your awareness, it's very important that you have to act on it. Now, the acting on it would have to be either seeking professional help, no, you have to talk it out, no, with professional, or you can have to already see the doctor, no, kasi pagkaano din yan kailangan kasi ang essence natin dito, hindi lang naman din yung state laging yung kung ano yung naramdaman, di ba? Pero kasi check din yan, mga laboratory, itingnan din yung sugar, tingnan yung mga ganito, para makita kung ano ba talaga yung pinanggagalingan nung nangyayari sa tao na yon. No?
Opo. How about, Doc Marie, how about the mood swing? Yung sabihin natin, after a while, they're doing some chatting or conversation, so maganda yung kanyang mood, and then sabihin natin nagkakaroon ng konting, sabihin natin medyo may na-touch na sensitive issue, tapos biglang naging irritable. So does mood swing also part of those symptoms that you're having a mental health issues?
That's one of those, yung sinasabi natin na extreme, no? Extreme changes of high and low, no? Apparently with the click of a finger, di ba, pwedeng gano'n, no? Biglang maging down, no? Ganun siya eh. So, among them, yung feeling sad or down, no? Like, kasi nga hindi nila alam eh, ito yung kausap mo lang, akala mo biglang tumatawa, di ba? Tapos bigla na lang sasabihin niya na magbe-breakdown na siya, di ba? Magbe-breakdown na siya. And totally, tapos magsasabi na siya ng hindi niya kaya yung buhay, no? And that would be it, no? Kasi that person could probably just nandun pa sa awareness na nilalabanan na yun. But eventually, dahil bumibigay na siya, dahil nandun na siya sa situation na yun, doon sa depression, okay, nandun siya. Importante na you have to assist the person to make him realize that he needs help, and help is there.
Opo. So, Doc Marie, na-discuss natin yung tungkol sa mga symptoms, and you're pointing about the proper medication. So, people, especially si Juan de la Cruz, kasi naging naging parang part na ng culture natin na rin. Parang dahil nga sa mahal siguro magpagamot, so normally, pagka masakit ang ulo natin, we just go over the counter for pharmacy sa medication, bibili lang tayo ng, sabihin natin, ng mga paracetamol. So, meron din bang DIY? Or tama ba na magka-DIY for mental health issue? Or we need to seek proper, sabihin natin, ng mga resource person, proper doctors? Kasi hindi lang naman nagkakaroon ng maganda, actually marami din talagang masamang effect ang sinasabi nating DIY or self-medication.
That's very true. I totally agree with you na sa ating mga Pinoy, kasi walang regulation pagdating sa over-the-counter, di ba? Dati nagkaroon ng regulation, so, pero bumalik na naman na anything could just have to be bought, di ba? Over-the-counter, no? Accessible kasi lahat, no? Almost medicine. At typically yan na ang Pinoy would have to have this kind of attitude na self-medication, no? Self-medication lagi. Kasi iniisip natin, what worked for one would work for one. Kung masakit ang tiyan ko, ito kinain ninom ko, ito pwede din to sa akin, di ba? Kaysa pumunta ako sa doktor kasi mahal, no? Well, we always have to see and consider, kasi meron ding tinatawag kasi na self-care modes, no? Ayun yung do it yourself. Kaya nga sinabing self-care, so it would be a personal effort that you'd have to be doing for yourself. But it is suggested that the self-care mode would just have to be, yung syempre hindi naman dun tayo sa severe na mga cases. Kasi sa severe cases na kunyari, mga mental issues na yan, no? Mental illness na yan o mental health concern na yan, hindi na rin nila alam kung ano yung ginagawa nila. So hindi nila kaya na rin gawin yon. You know that even if you'd have to be guiding them to do this, it takes really a while for them to realize that it's working out for them. So you really have to bear it with them and to be patient with them. Kasi ito yung sasabihin natin na talagang they really lose the touch of themselves. So the very essence is that we really have to connect them back to the self para magkaroon sila ng awareness kung ano nangyayari. Yeah. So ano yung self-care mode sa sinasabi natin? So ideally, yes, because struggles are inevitable, no? Hindi natin yan maitatabi. Talagang kahit anong araw, meron pa rin mga pagsubok, no, na dumadating. At hindi naman lahat ng bagay na gusto natin ay nakukuha natin. At yun laging nangyayari. So it's always a fact that we really need to make adjustment of ourselves. Okay. So pwedeng ito ay simple o complex adjustment, but we need to have adjustment. Now, what if things turn out not the way you wanted it to be? And that would have to be causing you to be frustrated, di ba? So you feel bad about the situation. And lalo na kung dahil medyo meron ka ng pinagdadaanan, sabi nga nila, tumambay ka pa dun sa pinagdadaanan mo. Kasi dapat daw, ito yung mga hugot lines sila, di ba? Dapat dumaan ka lang. Okay, yan ang sinasabing state of well-being. Dadaanan mo lang yan. Okay, but then not everybody would have the capacity just to pass, okay, and just to carry on the journey. Some would really have to stay and stay as victim of the situation, no? And these people really needs our help. These people needs our help. We have to make them realize that help should be there for them and they should be able to reach out. So, pagdating dun sa self-care modes na yan, just like any sickness, di ba pagka may sakit, nasabihin na, mataas ang high blood ko. High blood ako. Di ba? Ang sasabihin is that should be given medication, no? To normalize the blood pressure. And at the same time, yung mga essentials ba, you have to sleep well, you have to watch your diet, you have to do exercises, di ba? Yan yung mga typical eh. Whether it's whatever illness would have to be there, whether it's physical or mental concern, it would have to engage more of the self-care modes. How are we really treating ourselves? No? Kaya nga, yung going back to the client of mine, no? So I really have to make him be back to himself. And that would now be being compassionate. Kasi at the time, he was already trying to question his self-worth, no? Yung mga ganong issue. So the first thing is, part kasi ng self-care mode is to be compassionate with the self. And being compassionate with the self is being forgiving of your shortcomings because nobody's perfect, no? Kasi medyo perfectionist siya. And yung mga bagay na gusto niyang gawin, hindi nangyari, no? So medyo nag-deviate. So he was really greatly affected by it. He was completely devastated. I should speak of the word devastated. But so ito ngayon nang nangyari. So first is that you have really to go back to yourself and be kind. Okay, how do we get started to get started with it is to have to extend that compassion. So instead of having to say negative words to yourself, di ba? Kasi sinasabi na niya, wala kang kwenta eh. Wala kang kwenta, mamatay ka na lang. Yan yung mga issues niya. So kailangan, yung racing thoughts na yon, yung negative thoughts na yon, makontrol niya. But he can't do it practically. He was not able to do it. Before, sabi nga niya eh, you know me. Sabi niya ganyan, you know me more. Sabi niya, ako yung tao na siguro yung pinaka-worst situation na nakatayo pa rin ako. But this time, hindi ko na kaya. So, ayun. So, sabi ko, you see, you have really to start with the self. Kailangan i-feed mo yung sarili mo ulit kung paano mo siya nakilala dati. So, yung mga motivational quotes, no, you start with it, no? Of course, yung mga diet, no? Diet niya, hindi na minsan siya kumakain kasi hindi na niya alam yung ginagawa niya. So the basic things in life, the simple physical needs, attending to our physical needs, simple sleep, relaxation, of course the diet, the vitamins, no? So yan, hindi na kasi niya concern yun, nakalimutan niya na yun eh. Kaya medyo bumaba talaga siya. So he really needs to go back so that he would be able to help himself. And then from there, marami pang self-care modes na pwede siyang gawin. Marami yan.
So, Doc Marie, so later on, before we proceed dun sa mag-aasa ko, sabihin natin ng konting tips sa, sabihin natin, basic lang, kahit yun nga sinasabi natin na me time. So later on, so before we proceed dun sa discussion natin tungkol dito nga sa mental issue. So, once again, kami po ay nag-iimbita na tungkol dito po sa Juan's Lab. Sabi nga po namin nung kina-conceptualize po namin ang programa nito, para sa pagmamahal namin kay Juan de la Cruz, makinig sa Juan's Lab. For the love of Juan, listens to Juan's Lab. And don't forget to visit our Facebook and YouTube account. So yung ating pong Katipunan channel. So please like, share, and subscribe. So ganun din po sa aming YouTube channel. So please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell para updated po kayo sa mga aming programa. So tuwing Martes ng umaga, alas 11 po hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali, kami po dito sa Juan's Lab ay nag-iimbita para makapagbigay ng dagdag kaalaman kay Juan de la Cruz. So please listen to Juan's Lab so para Once again po, so for the love of one, please listen to One's Love and don't forget to like, hit, and subscribe our YouTube and Facebook account sa Katipunan channel po. Doc Marie, before we proceed dun sa sabihin natin, mag-ask po ako ng konting tips or sabihin natin DIY, basic lang yung mga basic lang para ma-overcome nga natin itong tinatawag na mental health issue. May mga questions po tayo. So yung una pong questions ko ay nakalagay po dito. Maituturing po ba na ang main cause ng mental health ay kahirapan?
Well, okay. Siyempre, sinabi natin kanina na yung environmental, no? Yung so wellness, going back to the wheel of wellness, no? Now, how the person would have really to see himself kung saan condition siya. Nagmamatter talaga yun kung paano yung pananaw ng tao eh. Katulad ng iba, yung kahirapan, alam niya na yun yung condition niya. In-accept niya kasi yung condition na gano'n. Pero may ginawa silang paraan para dito. Yung iba naman, kahit hindi sila mahirap, pero nagsasuffer pa rin sila ng mental health issue, di ba? Because the people would have to be having to display different perception on things. So it has biological component, no? Andun din yung genetic, saka bukod dun sa sinasabi natin nga na yung sa brain chemical imbalance, no? Brought about also by stress. So, yung poverty, that could be a situational that could be a trigger. That could be a trigger. Because syempre pagka may problema ka na sa pera, tapos marami pang ibang pangangailangan, no? Hindi mo talaga maiiwasan na bumigay ka sa sitwasyon kasi mayroong sitwasyon. Okay? So it could lead you to a mental health concern. That's why sa workplace, no, kailangan very sensitive ang mga bosses sa kanilang mga empleyado kasi lalo na kung nakita na nila na mayroon na siyang kakaibang dinidisplay na behavior na hindi siya ganon pero ganon siya ngayon, irritable, di ba, palaaway, no? Ito yung mga behavioral, no? Kasi ang sinasabi nga na ang manifestations nito would have to be in what we call in the acronym na BASCSS, no? So may impact siya sa B is behavioral, okay? So A is affective or the feeling aspect. Then we have S as would be the somatic. So may mga body aches, body pains, no? And then we have C would have to be cognitive. And then S would have to be social. Yung nagwi-withdraw na sila dahil nga ayaw na sila sa mundo, di ba? Dahil sa pangyayari, hindi makatarungan, no? Ito yung nangyayari ngayon, no? And then lastly would be spiritual, which is now question of faith. Okay? Dahil hindi natin maiwasan yan dahil doon sa poverty. But then again, it depends on how the person would have to be reacting on the situation. But I could say that it is actually, it could
add-ons to trigger.
It's a trigger, okay? It's a situation that could trigger.
Follow up doon po, Doc Marie. So kawalan ng pera o kakayahang makapagpakain ng sarili or sa pamilya. So
syempre, alam natin.
So definitely, opo.
Pag hindi na rin tayo makain, di ba? Pag di na tayo kumain, that's a basic need eh. So we lose the nutrients of the body. So totally, everything, our whole functioning would have to be affected. But despite it also, na-add pa yon. So hindi ka na kumakain. Siyempre, imagine mo lang na hindi ka kumain, di ba? Mas sa ulo yon. Tapos mag-iisip ka pa. Tapos meron pang ibang stress, environmental stressors na nandiyan siya. That person could really be giving in also to the situation.
Especially for parents na hindi nila mapakain ng tama yung kanilang mga anak at mapag-aral yung kanilang mga anak. So, Doc Marie, during sa first question, may na-mention kayo about sa mga genetic, no? Ang mental health po ba namamana? Mental health problem? Is this a genetic problem?
The book would have to say to us that it has mental illness or mental disorder would always have its genetic account. But it puts you on a higher risk or susceptibility. Okay, so like for example, ikaw, di ba ako, in my family line, no? Okay, in my family line, meron sa amin na nagkaroon ng mental concern, mental issue, no? Mental health issue. Now, ikaw, wala sa line mo. Between you and me, mas highly susceptible ako sa trigger because I have it. Okay, so it could be that like poverty, like ito ngayon yung sinasabi mong poverty, ako yung susceptible dahil nasa line ko siya, sa genetic ko siya, then I am susceptible to develop the illness. Okay? Yung isa naman kasi, that's what you call the predisposing factor. And the other one is the precipitating factor. Ito ngayon yung situation surrounding you. That could add on. No? That could add on. But essentially, nobody is actually exempted to have this because there could be situations that could trigger. Dahil kasama rin yan, yung ating yung tinatawag na psychological fiber. Okay, gaano ka ba katatag? And pagdating dito kasi madami ng issues ang papasok dito. Meron na yung early childhood experiences, yung trauma, yung overprotectiveness na kaya yung bang maganda na nalalaman at an early age ng bata kung anong katotohanan ng buhay kasi that would have to be making that child a stronger person when he grows old rather than the pampered one, no? Kasi alam nila lagi silang pampered, lahat sila ganito laging condition, safe laging condition. So a simple trigger alone would really make them feel uncomfortable and that would lead them already to be more susceptible to the development of the illness.
Doc Marie, yung nasabi yung fiber, ano nga po ba ulit to?
Psychological fiber.
Psychological fiber. So ganun din naman sa engineering. Kasi bawat material, sabihin natin, depende siya how can it stand a certain, sabihin natin, problem ng mga tinayo nating structure. For example, metal ba yan, concrete, kahoy. So meron din palang ganun na tinatawag na sa psychology yung sabihin natin.
Psychological fiber. That would be related to the way that it have to be handling the frustration, no? Yung experiences mo, yung learning experiences mo Kaya nga sinabi ko kanina, it's really better to expose children to the realities of life and that would make them better individuals, no? Kasi alam nila ang totoo. Do not try to shield them from that life realities kasi mas mahihirapan silang tanggapin yon and that would make them a weaker person also.
So napakagandang factor yung ating environment at yung reality talaga. Even though that sabihin natin reality bites, but it actually help us sabihin natin na mas maging matatag. So balik tayo doon, Doc Marino. Kasi normally pagka yung ibang tao, sabihin natin, yung term na ginagamit na i-stress sila, nalulungkot, they do shopping, they go to parlor, sabihin natin they go to nail salon, they watch movie, they go on a trip. So ano ba yung mga sabihin natin, for one day lang, mga basic DIY, sabihin natin just to have this, to overcome, or sabihin natin mabawasan kahit paano yung mga mental health issues nila.
Yes, yung mga sinabi mo niya na yan ay tinatawag natin na self-care modes. Sabi nga walang basagan ng trip, di ba? Yan ang mga What would make you happy at this time? Just do it. Kaya nga, laging concern dito, kahit may mga different self-care modes, no? At sinasabi rin nga ng mga mental health advocates na we can also try to learn other self-care modes too. Na minsan, katulad dati, nung pandemic, bukod doon, natuto kong magluto. So I love cooking and baking, no? Kaya lang, hindi ko na siya magawang self-care mode ngayon o adaptive mode kasi busy na ako. Pagdating ko sa bahay, tulog na ako, di ba? So I have to find other things around. But the one that would have to be like the watching K-novela, hindi ko na rin siya magawa ngayon kasi so I have to find another. And that's just like finding things to just fill in the space that you need to have for yourself.
Okay po. Doc Marie, meron lang isang follow-up question regarding dun sa genetic ng mental health issue. Kung ang mental health problem ay namamana, sabihin natin may part talaga ng genetic, mas malakas po ba ang genes ng nanay sa isang anak para manahin niya ang health problem issue?
Well, the susceptibility, I'm not really familiar whether it's the mother or the father. Alam ko lang sa mother yung intelligence. But I know that it's in the family line. It's the ancestry line that the most. For as long as you have a parent, a parent or a sibling na who had this, mas susceptible ka doon.
Opo. So maraming salamat, Doc Marie.
Di ba yung bang like other illnesses like cancer, di ba? Pag sa family line mo, direct family line mo, you have high susceptibility to develop. It's just the same.
So kung meron talagang heart problems yung line ng family natin, so hanggat maaari talaga, so mabigyan talaga natin ng pansin. So I hope that we answer the questions given to us. Doc Marie, ito na rin siguro yung bago tayo magtapos, no? Ito pa po isa. May palatandaan ba na ang mental health may palatandaan ba na may mental health problem ang isang tao? So yung na-mention nyo kanina, Doc Marie, yung about mood swing, yung loss ng appetite, and also what else? Yung kanyang sleeping pattern. So these are the indication that this person is having a problem with mental health issues. Am I right, Doc Marie?
Yes, there are other symptoms pa and other signs. Okay, siyempre you feel sad, confused, talaga may confusion, hindi makaisip, no? There are so many running thoughts. Sinasabi nga nila na analysis paralysis, no? Ito yung they keep on thinking about the situation but they are not able to arrive at a decision or an action. They really make this very difficult for them to make a decision or to make a choice, no? Dahil sa sobrang isip nila, hindi sila makafocus, no? They don't, at times they don't really know what they're doing, eh. Nagawa na pala nila yon, no? Hindi nila alam na nakarating sila, minsan nakapaglakad sila, hindi nila alam nakapagbihis na pala sila. Nagugulat na lang sila, nagiging aware sila na nandun na sila sa isang place na yon. And it really happens, no? These are what we call lapses, and this could be already indicators, no? Yung sinabi mo kanina, so balikan natin yung sinabi ko sa yung BAS CSS, no? CSS na yon, that would already be the basic symptoms that we'd have to be looking forward to. Actually, not looking forward, but these are indicators that we should be sensitive to pala. Okay? Dahil yun na isang it could be now a symptom of that. Kasi pag hindi natin siya na-treat, no, that would later on lead to a severe mental health concern or issue. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan natin pagdating sa mental health is that it affects the way we think, the way we feel, at pag pinagsama natin ang thinking and feeling, kasama niyan ay action. Whatever we think about, that would have to be now related to the act that we'll have to do. In the same way that in the treating of the coping, ito yung sabi natin na yung mindset natin dapat i-reframe natin. That would now be the cognitive aspect that would have to fall into the picture. That you are in control, you acknowledge what is happening, you accept what is happening, and then from there, complete kasama yung mga breathing exercises na dapat natin gawin, yung mga pause. Kailangan mag-pause ka eh. Kailangan may break, no? And that pause and break would actually be the one that would have to enlighten you more on what situation you are in. And that would bring you now to the situation further, and that would capacitate you either to deal with the situation or to deal more beyond the situation or the call of the situation. So ito yung sinasabi natin na victim mode ka ba magstay or magiging surviving mode ka o thriving mode, no? In essence, so we speak of a person in crisis. Pero pag sinabi nating mental health continuum, sabi nga nila, it's just bad day. Okay? It's not a bad life. So there are only days or probably time that you'll have to feel bad, but it would not be totally bad for the whole day. Okay? But if that would already be persistent, okay, that you cannot really see the goodness of anything, and that would already be a one already signal o sinasabi nating red flag, no? Like some people, wala pa silang ginagawa, they feel tired already, no? Napakababa ng energy level nila. The worst would have to be that people would already be having tending to be suspicious of others, no? Having hallucinations, no? Then inability to cope with the work demands kasi nga wala silang energy eh. Mali-mali na yung ginagawa nila, hindi na nila maintindihan yung mga sinasabi ng mga tao. It's really very difficult for them to process information. That's why they're readily irritated and reactive, no? And because of this would also lead them to yung mga dating hindi umiinom. Pero dahil sabi nga nila, para makalimot sila, iinom sila. So una, yan ngayon nga sa atin, nangyayari ngayon dahil para makalimutan nila yung mga hindi magandang nangyari sa buhay nila. So they actually the alcohol, they turned into alcohol. So hanggang nagkaroon na sila ng longing, hanggang naging addiction na to, na hindi na nila ma-stop para sa sarili nila. And we also see na yung excessive anger, no, walang kaabog-abog, biglang nagalit, irritable, no? Dati hindi naman. And also the worst would have to be now the suicidal thoughts. That would be really the red flags that we really have to consider, because that has already synced in. So nakita natin na, although itong mga sinabi ko sa symptoms na ito are also the same symptoms that would have to be initially displayed by somebody who is actually experiencing anxiety. Pero dito kasi pinagsabi natin dito ay matagal na panahon na. So hindi na siya dahil may situation lang, but eventually the person cannot really grow out of the situation and he's already fixated in that kind of mode.
Mm-hmm. So Doc Marie, before we end our discussion, once again, kami po dito sa Juan's Lab ay nag-iimbita na please like, share, and subscribe our Katipunan channel. So mapa-Facebook po yan at YouTube channel. So lalong-lalo na po ang Juan's Lab. So ang Juan's Lab po ay tuwing Martes ng umaga, alas 11 ng umaga po hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali. So once again, please like, share, and subscribe our Katipunan channel, Facebook, and aming YouTube account. So bago po tayo magtapos, Doc Marie, I would like to ask any sabihin natin last word or final words for Juan de la Cruz regarding dito po sa mental health issues problem natin.
Life is full of challenges and trials. Just always remember that what you can only control of are your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And this actually matters a lot. We need to be well so that we'll be able still to enjoy life. Life is beautiful. It's just a bad day, but not a bad life. After all. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc Marie. Doc Marie, do you have anything that you would like to invite our viewers, especially Juan de la Cruz? Kung meron po kayong mga sabihin natin mga gigs dyan or Facebook channel or even YouTube channel or even books. Actually, I've been recommending you to write a book because actually, Doc Marie, no, even today, I learned so much, especially ito nga po yung mental health issues problem natin, especially for Juan de la Cruz. So I hope that more viewers, even yung inyong audience o sabihin natin magkaroon man ng readers kasi hindi lang naman during the pandemic talaga to nagkakaroon. At hindi lang naman talaga isang araw, isang linggo, isang buwan, at hindi lang naman sa isang tao, hindi lang naman talaga kay Juan de la Cruz itong mental health issues problem. No? So napakarami po, kahit ako minsan, kanina yung nakikinig ako sa inyo, yung from sad, sabihin natin, nagkaroon ka ng stress, nagkaroon ka ng anxiety na talaga. So yung level na tinatawag natin regarding sa mental health issues problem, no? Napakalaking tulong para kay Juan de la Cruz. So kami po dito ma'am sa Juan's Lab at sa Katipunan Channel ay nagpapasalamat. So bago po tayo magtapos, kami po ay nagpapasalamat dito sa Juan's Lab sa aming channel technician na si Sir Ver Archivido at the same time ang aming station manager na si Ma'am Cruz at ang may-ari po ng Katipunan Channel si Professor Butch Valdez. So once again, thank you for listening. Kami po dito sa Juan's Lab ay nagpapasalamat sa inyo. So don't forget to pray. Actually, napakalaking tulong po kay Juan de la Cruz talaga ang dasal. So lalong-lalo na po talaga ngayong pandemic. So it will help us actually to relieve our mental health issues problem at the same time sa kabuuan po talaga natin. So maraming salamat po. And see you once again po next week sa aming palabas dito sa Juan's Lab. So thank you very much po.